my god guys, have you heard the news? Amazon Prime has allowed VivziePop to make them more money. What's that? Amazon loves money and nothing else? Shocker. Why did you think a video like this was important? Why did you think anyone would be surprised that you are making Amazon more money? That is the one thing that I know that they do. Steal all of the monies and give none of it to the people who need it. I wouldn't normally be making a video about something that is not news, but there is a little thing that I've noticed during this announcement, I suppose you can call it, that kind of caught my attention enough to warrant this, and I think you might know what I mean if you've watched this before. It was a little bit out of place, but maybe that's just me catching this sort of stuff because I'm used to watching everything VivziePop does with like super scrutiny. But yes, let's take a couple of minutes to break down this new announcement and how it's absolute nonsense. First of all, Lamau, imagine having news like this presented half by the dude who deserves full credit for your entire brand still existing at all, and the other half of this mess presented by someone who wasn't even on staff for the pilot premiere of the show in which she now plays the main character. That's how involved she was in the show's history. She wasn't even there for it. Hell, I think Jeff made it into more scenes than you did, but that was by proxy, and that was just because I had the power of DaVinci, not the guy, the editing software. My point is, why not announce this news yourself, VivziePop? I'm calling you out directly now. Look at you over. No, nice. No, I can see you. But yes, Vivzie, why not announce this yourself in person? Especially since you take so much pride in your brand. If this is how you show pride, how do you show disdain? Do you set it on fire? Actually, I can't see how that would be any worse. Brendan Raguse, to his credit, did pretty good work on Hell of a Boss, especially most of the first season. Unfortunately, he did get bored halfway through season 2 and then proceeded to shit every pair of pants he fucking owned, which of course resulted in the fan base dropping off harder than the average anvil when applied to +3 gravity. I can't tell if that was a Minecraft joke or not. For those who missed this super important announcement about things you could have guessed yesterday, it was essentially Vivzie's team, or rather two of them, the only two she would bother paying, announcing that Father Amazon had indeed allowed them to create him more money because of course he fucking did. Again, oh my god, it turns out Amazon liked money the whole time. How could we have foreseen this? Seasons 3 and 4 of something is greenlit, and who gives a shit anymore, man? Expect 7 or 8 seasons per show simply because they love milking things. It's gonna keep on going until the show no longer makes money, and apparently all the goobers over on Amazon just keep eating this stuff up anyway, so it's probably gonna be 30 seasons. Think Rick and Morty, but with none of the style, charm, or writing or anything. Oh, right, yes, sorry, I forgot the entire point of this video. You see, something caught my eye during this particular announcement, dear gamers. VivziePop, through Brandon, just straight up brought attention to and directly acknowledged that she was still in creative control of the show, which is very strange to me, because why would you specifically announce something like that?
Full creative control remains entirely with this bitch who, I guess she made everything here. She's in charge.
Now, other than that being literally the worst news ever, on top of being literal nonsense in about 15 different ways, it also makes me a little bit proud of myself. You see, I refuse to believe that she didn't put this in the script purely because of critics like me, the Kreb. Remember, Brendan has canonically watched at least one of my videos, and I'm fairly certain that was one where I whinged about VivziePop, considering that's like all I do now. Whoops, that's a shame. So until it's disproven, I'm taking partial credit, majority credit for the fact that Vivzie was so butthurt about this that she had to literally announce she was still in charge. Which, by the way, doesn't that just make it more suspicious? Like, if you were still in charge of a show and someone started yelling about how you were garbage, wouldn't you just ignore them unless you thought they had a point and then you'd get super defensive? Because I'm fairly certain that's what this is. I feel like specifically mentioning you have creative freedom is something you do when you specifically don't have any creative freedom. You know, the kind of thing your overlords might tell you to say to quieten any of the random crabs they found in the nearby waters, eating all of the plankton and bullying all of the garbage shows. Actually, it's just 2 garbage shows. I tried bullying Invincible and the algorithm looked at me like that one dog meme and voted me out of the ship. Did I just make an Among Us reference in 2025? Oh no. So, with Vivzie suspiciously declaring, don't worry guys, I totally have creative freedom and I'm definitely not reading off a script presented to me directly by the Albanian mafia, we have 2 conclusions we can draw from this. First of all, let's be complete goobers and say that we believe Vivzi Pop. A tactically unsound plan that is sure to result in our general getting really grumpy at us for murdering all of our staff again. Hey, that's on brand. If Vivzi is indeed responsible for the mess that is Season 1 of Hazbin Hotel and Season 2 of Hell of a Boss, fire her! You own her thing now, unless she's on the contract, which I can only assume she is, otherwise why would she still be in your studio? I say we pull a full-on irony and gigaboot her out of the show and replace her with someone famous. The only problem with that, of course, is to achieve full irony, we'd have to replace her with someone famous who's also worse at her job than her. See, the pilot of Hazbin Hotel. And of course that is a problem because I'm fairly certain you could hire the local garbage bin to throw itself at the keyboard and it would end up writing a better script than half of Season 2. I know people who create entire storyboards using Microsoft Paint and have better jokes lined up than Angel Deer has come up with in the last, I don't know, 4 years, which is depressing. Okay, so how about instead of assuming that she was telling the truth about this, because what? Let's assume that she is absolutely lying through her teeth as per usual. A much better plan based in facts and logic and not eating enough boots to start a fucking shoe factory. Why in God's name would Amazon and Vivzi both want us to think she's still in control of her show? I've said this literally 5 seconds ago, but she is bloody awful. A good 95% of her decent writing or creative decisions were not made by her. It was either Brandon writing, even though he didn't get writing credit again, or a random unnamed intern that did her job for her better than she could for the 15th time that week. Also uncredited, you'd notice. Why is your name on the box when you don't do anything? I would not be surprised if Vivzi simply goes through whatever fanfic she finds and poached the ideas that she likes and just adapts them to her own story. In fact, I know a fair few people who seem to think that, and they're much smarter than me. It's just strange to me that you would want to make sure everybody knows that you made this mess and you are still in charge of this, thus you're going to make more of a mess. I know the average person doesn't care that you're in charge, but the average person isn't a creb, and the average person isn't grumpy at you, and I'm both of those. I suppose, again, it could also get better. Maybe Vivzi is simply exercising all of the garbage plot lines out of the way early to make the later seasons really good. I mean, she did it at some point. Well, she didn't. Her staff did. Then again, her staff used to be really good, but I wonder what happened to them. Honestly, what do you think, dear humans? Does Vivzi indeed still have full creative freedom? Dear God, please no. And if she does have this freedom, do you think it is a good thing, or do you think it is a Jesus Christ, everybody run away and bury your heads in the sand, here comes season fucking 3. I do genuinely hope this show improves again though. As much as I rag on it, I really did used to enjoy Hell of a Boss especially, so it would be really nice to enjoy Vivzi's work again. That way I wouldn't have to keep screaming at her and I could get back to doing important things. Speaking of which, my exams just ended, so that's where I've been for a month. I do apologize, but it's kind of important apparently, which is just rubbish. But now that they're over, I'm going to try my absolute best to stick to my fortnightly schedule again. Just gotta work on the old time management part of my brain, which I'm not convinced exists, so that might be a problem. Regardless, thank you all so much for watching and for bearing with me and my awful scheduling. And I will see you all again in 2 weeks, for real this time. I won't disappear for like a month.